so unofficial it doesn't have a home. Here's your host, from In Hindsight, Nathan Heitz. From Steelers Nation Australia, Mark Davison. And from State of the Steelers, Daniel J. Here we go!
Alrighty, Steelers Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia and the Unofficial Steelers Podcast. Today is episode number 30. G'day, Nathan. What's going on, mate?
Mark, good day, man. Out here, it's night. It's about 6:34 Eastern time. Pretty good. Went to the dentist today. Everything was all good there. And
yanked your teeth out when you don't need that one, mate.
No, they say that I have some of the best teeth that they've seen come in there. So
yeah,
it's never usually a problem when I'm in. Usually pretty easy. So I just do my 6 months. So it was good to be there, and then just did a couple errands with my girlfriend today. So that's about it. How's your day out there?
I'm going all right, man. I got to get back to the old dentist. I went there once and got my wisdom teeth pulled out. Then I passed out and threw up. So that was good. That's
fantastic, isn't it?
It was great. I love that stuff. But we're going to start the show off right. Without everyone knows what's going on. It's hoping Hamlin pulls through. What did you see yesterday? Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
He went into cardiac arrest, and pretty much in a nutshell, like, the dude died. Like, he died or was dead and was brought back to life, or however it works, right? I don't know. But he wasn't breathing, unconscious, fell over. What do you think's going on? You know? Crazy, right?
Yeah, no, it really is. It's something that happens rarely, really, in sports, and we've seen situations like that before, like where there was a collapse on the court, or things like that. Like it's happened, and I know that there was a couple things that happened in the past year with college or a high school football game, college basketball game, or something similar to that has happened. So anyway, I turned the game on. I actually did not see it live. I turned the game on kickoff. Yeah. So game was on kickoff. My girlfriend and I, we stepped away from the TV for a little bit. And then I had the TV on my room, and I had that channel on. And it said that they postponed the game and everything that happened. I was like, my God. So I originally didn't really want to go back and watch it because I didn't really know. I didn't really want to see how it looked. And then when I was reading something, then the video popped up. I'm like, all right, let me just kind of see maybe how it happened. I'm not really going to put any speculation on it just because I don't know. But I've heard from like what some people have said is that sometimes when you get such freaking type of contact, like hit in this type of area, like it can cause a reaction like that to the heart. And it's not something that's obviously often common, but I've seen some people who have kind of been in that field before, or at least kind of put an idea out there what might have triggered that to happen. But it's just too bad. It's just too bad. And it's one of those things that
the thing is,
no fan ever wants to see happen. Or any teammate, team, whatever.
The thing is, like, you don't even really want to see it in real life either, right? I remember, I wasn't working when I was working at the pub, but I wasn't working that day. But someone had told me that the day before, on my day off, that one of the elderly gentlemen went to the bar and then he had a heart attack at the bar, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but the same kind of thing you just don't want to see. It's a part of life, but it is very shocking. And this would be something that could happen in, a big collision, and could happen in a state of shock, or in a car crash too. These things can happen like that too. So we don't know.
No.
Some of the idiots out there saying it's to do with the yabba dabba vaccine. I can't say those words because I get in trouble.
Yeah.
But and look, I'm one of the most conspiratorial guys out there in the world, right? And I don't think that's even right to say that. It's beyond stupid that you're going to link that, because these comments are so negative. They're like, well, there has to be that. Well, you don't know. No one knows.
You don't.
We're so disconnected. And the thing is, it doesn't even matter how it happened. The thing is that it did happen. He got hit, and he thought he was okay, and the next minute just fell over.
Yeah.
And everything stopped. The world stopped. And the players knew what was going on. They're in tears, waiting for him to be, I think he was in CPR for like 9 minutes or something like that to get him back to life. We still don't know. He's in a stable condition that I've heard last time. But
Right.
something, and like Kel said, so scary, man. It is. It really is. So we don't know. But the reason why I brought the pub idea when I used to work for the pub, I wouldn't know what to do if I saw someone just faint right in front of me and fall over and have a heart attack or something wrong with their heart. You just don't know what to do, right? You just all kinds of shock. I'm the same as you. I was watching my mate Gridiron Blitz do the breakdown, and he said something. And I was like, hang on, did I miss something? I went back and rewound. I was like, holy dooly, this happened. Like, this was crazy. Shout out to all the staff, though, like on the field, coaches, everyone like that. The people actually who had saved this man's life. They saved someone's life today or yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That is insane how that works out. But, hopefully he can pull it together. I don't know what the NFL is going to do in terms of football games. It doesn't really matter. We are going to talk football today, though, but we just want to take that first bit to, I don't know, just football, man. It's a part of life, but like, so he could have passed away. Like, let's be honest, that would have been insane, right? And still, we don't know what's going to happen. So,
no, we don't, and it's kind of a day by day thing. But praise God, man, that all the EMTs and the AED guy was there to freaking revive the guy on the field. If they didn't have the right people there, he might have been gone.
And we still hope that, like we had an incident in Australia. I think his name was Steve. I think it was Steve Wall or something. No, not like that. No, I can't remember his name. Top of my head, I can't remember his name. But we had a guy in Australia that got hit in the head by a cricket ball, right? And he passed away 2 days later. So we hope everything's fine. And he's been in the thoughts and prayers of every single one around the world. Just because the incident happened doesn't mean it's over. There's going to be life complications after the fact. And just because it happened doesn't mean he's safe. Because the bloke, sorry, I can't remember his name, so it's doing my shout out injustice. But the guy in Australia got hit by the cricket ball, a young fella, right to the helmet, and he went to hospital, concussion, and then 2 days later he died. Like, that happened a few years ago. I'll have to look it up what his name is to give him a shout out. But that's this kind of stuff in sport. We watch the sport. We're so keen. We bag out the players. Trubisky sucks. Kenny's great. All this stuff. And then you see that and you're like, what just happened, Yeah. Man.
Yeah, that's it with sports. And no matter what sport you play, you always risk, injury and stuff like that. But it's something like this is something that just doesn't just happen often. And I think, Claudia, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Good to see you in the chat. It's one of those things when it does happen, it's something you just got to kind of continue to keep the right perspective. That's why I'm not someone that I used to when I was younger, but now like I don't really get caught up into like sports changing my mood, right? Or the team I like losing just completely ruins my week or my day. Like, at the end of the day, like, you can't control that stuff, right? You're a fan, you support who's ever on the team, and at the same time you still appreciate those athletes and everything like that. And Michael, we will, bro, but like, it's something we wanted to talk about here. So it's actually not over. So
yeah, no, I'm putting
it happened. It's over. It's actually not over.
Mate,
the guy's still in critical condition.
That is insensitive. Make your own podcast. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're in timeout. Come back on 5. Be more sensible than that. Can we talk Steelers? We got the whole time to talk Steelers, mate. Someone almost freaking died on the field, and I was going to bring up the Australian cricketer. If you don't like it, don't come back. I'm simply done with you, mate. I'm just over you. Philip Hughes was the guy that got hit by hit in the neck by a cricket ball right in the neck, and he went into a coma, and then 2 days later in 2014 he died. So
you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that you are glad about the current progress, but it's just day at a time.
Yeah.
Day at a time with all that, man. And that's really all anybody can do. Right.
Yeah, but look, I'm saying, look, I'll be frank, man. This is a podcast, right? We can talk about French fries, the pizza, or we can talk about the death that may have happened. No one's going to rush me on my podcast. So that was that's super insensitive, man. Talk about Steelers now. Talk about Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, we're going through this. Like, what happened yesterday was you haven't seen that on the field like ever. The Bills players, the Bengals players, there's fans in the stadium didn't know what to do in that. They know what to do. A guy legit went for a tackle and then next minute fell over, and now he's in like a critical condition. If he could pass away. So I can't stand that stuff, man. I'm if you're still listening, I'm over you. Like, just I don't get it. It's more than football. And yes, my title is: the Pittsburgh Steelers do the Pittsburgh Steelers deserve to be in the playoffs? We'll talk about that. But don't rush these things like that, man. That's just stupid. That's overly stupid, man. That's pissed me off. I'm sorry, but like this happened to a young fellow who's 24 years old, and the same thing with Dwayne Haskins, right? Yeah. He's still in our thoughts too. That fellow could have had a chance to play in the NFL, and things got cut like that.
Yeah, he could have an opportunity, man.
It's just ridiculous that happens like that. And I don't know what the NFL is going to do. Of course, the NFL is a business, and they need to get back at it. They need to go and play the game because they're seeding, that kind of stuff. And we don't overly know. But even the NFL didn't know what to do. The NFL had no idea what to do. You could even see. Did you see the live broadcast with Schefter and those guys? They had no words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, there's nothing really that you can ultimately say that you have to just kind of sit there, really.
Yeah, and look, and I know that he's got the foundation and the money's been raised, and those all kinds of good things are happening. But I think there's been some really, the internet is the internet, and some people on the internet saying, "Oh, it had to be this, it had to be the vaccine, it had to be."
You don't know. Why does it even matter?
It had to be a headshot. It doesn't. The fact is, what happened is something super sad and crazy happened where it stopped the world in the game yesterday, and the fella fell over, and you just can't give enough respect to the NFL and the emergency staff that went in there and got him back. And I do look, we are going to transition now if we can, but that's just fired me up. It's really it's actually made me not want to do this podcast. I know that sounds crazy, but that's pissed me off. Like those kind of things, and that's why I take the internet for being the internet. But the podcasts are meant to be starting with something, and we might end with puppy talk. And I hope we do.
Seriously, that's just how it goes. I mean, anybody can feel free to make their own.
Exactly. So, and I think you guys are coming in here, but that just sets me off in a bad way. But Jeremiah Jones says all our thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin and his family. Exactly right. Imagine his family, man, like going through that. Your son or your cousin or your brother. I'm not even sure you have siblings. And then next minute he's just on the ground, and then everyone's like, what's going to happen? So, and we still don't know what's going to happen. So, exactly right. Look, and I'm the biggest conspiracy guy in the world. If you want to talk about that, like I believe in some of the things that are all in those different parts of the internet. But you see someone fall over like that and go into cardiac arrest, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's at the end of the day, dude. Who cares? Like, nobody freaking knows, man. What ultimately was the cause? What happened? At the end of the day, it's just supporting the guy, right? Wanting the best to come out of the situation, praying for him, lifting him up, sending positive things,
And this also reminds me a little bit with like Shazier, but at least Shazier could give the thumbs up. At least Shazier was breathing. Right. This fella got rushed to hospital because he had
even with that too. Like, nobody even wanted to watch the rest of that Steeler game, dude. You could even just watch the players out there play, like just their body language. They didn't want to freaking play.
No, and yesterday they apparently were saying, we'll give them 5 minutes, and they took about an hour to get together. Both coaches said, we can't play. There is no way that that Josh Allen could go into the huddle and far right, X receiver, blah, 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 this way, that way, then see you later. It didn't make – you couldn't allow someone to do that. Now, I don't know what the guy had with the game, and of course, time heals all wounds, and we hope he's okay. But that was something I don't think anyone's ever seen on TV like that in real time. So Jeremiah says it's not about football, it's about a human being who's fighting for his life. 100%. Like, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Get well soon. We're all behind you. And Curtis says the NFL gave them 5 minutes, pretty much it. Like, this was, if you go to the media side too, the NFL had to think fast. Imagine if they played that game, Nathan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
there's no way, man. Yeah, no, there's no way. It's just the NFL though. I know that the one guy that's whatever department he's in was denying, saying that they were going to continue the game after that and stuff like that. But you know what? With the NFL's MO, I really wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised if they just their normal plan was just to continue on. I just wouldn't, just because of how they are. But it's beside the point.
Yeah, like if they had a media thing on their hands straight away, of course, life and death situation. But if Goodell said, you know what, you have to play regardless, that would have been not the end of the NFL, but that would have been a real dent into their armor of like, okay, what you've done is wrong. But we will continue with the show, because we're going to continue with the show when we want to, not when someone says talk about Steelers. We're not puppets here, mate. We are human beings ourselves. I am Steel Nation Australia. I'm building a good community here. I have Nathan here as well from In Hindsight, building a good community over there at YouTube. We do want to talk Steelers. Talking Steelers and football and life. So let's transition into the next bit. And the question I wanted to ask today, and also, by the way, our good mate Daniel J isn't here right now. He's a bit busy with family and friends. So, hope he's doing well too. And we got to ask the question. Like I was in a heated debate with someone on Facebook the other day, and they said that the Steelers don't deserve to be there. And I should have got out of that, because the internet is the internet, and I should get out of there. But the question is, do the Pittsburgh Steelers deserve to be in the playoffs if they win and things go our way? We're going to move on from there.
Well, I'm going to say, yeah, just because even if you don't think that they're still a quote unquote good team, like they still are in it. So you're telling me, so if the Steelers get in, right? The Steelers get in, the Dolphins lose again, Patriots lose. Then you're telling me the Dolphins or the Patriots deserve it over Steelers? They're the ones that lost the games. So what do you mean that the Steelers wouldn't deserve to get in?
I mean, those things are happening there.
That doesn't make sense to me. But here's the thing, dude. No matter what, and I said this on my video I uploaded yesterday, no matter what, man, people that are supposedly Steeler fans are going to bitch and cry and complain no matter what. They can go 17-0 and they will still bitch and cry and complain because they didn't score enough points, or they did this, they did that. Give me a break, bro. There's nothing wrong with criticism, but like when it's literally like you say you're a fan and then it's like, yet you're not. I mean, get the freak out of here, dude. Nobody wants to hear that. So if the Steelers find themselves in the playoffs, to deserve, I mean, yeah, in the point of they went 7-2 the rest of the way, and okay, things fell their way, but the reason why things fell their way is because the other teams ahead of them couldn't do it. So why would they deserve it?
You make a good point. The Dolphins probably don't deserve to be there. They're on a losing stretch, and the Patriots don't deserve to be there either. Why do they deserve to be the 7th? Steelers are the hot team right now. They deserve to be there. If those things happen, I think actually then they can happen. Now, of course, we've got to see what happened with the Hamlin update, stuff like that. But you're exactly right. Like the term like fan, right, and supporter. What is a supporter? You support your team. A lot of these fans just want 17-0. They want a Super Bowl. They want everything. They want all that kind of stuff. They're not there to support the team. You support the team. Like I like watching the team from Najee Harris to if a backup center, Kendrick Green, comes back and he's playing, I'm like, well, let's go Green, give him another shot. I like to see the guys like Gentry. If he gets a catch for 10 yards, I'm like, let's go Gentry. Or you see Olszewski get a catch the other day. I like that stuff. Not just to get the win at the end of the day, or not because we won the Super Bowl at the very end of the day. No, I support the whole season. And the whole season this year, and do the Pittsburgh Steelers deserve to be in the playoffs? They started from 2-6. Now they're 8-8. With 3 games to go, they have a chance to get in. That to me is unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're here, and we still have a chance to be here. And we've been supporting the whole way. You and I have been supporting the whole way through. And you said from the very beginning when we started this podcast, just see how Kenny progresses. I don't care if he throws a few picks. See how he progresses. And now, how is Kenny progressing? He's not doing too bad, is he? He's got the record.
He's getting better each week. That's the thing. It's something Steeler fans don't know anything about. It's called patience. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of Steeler fans that are in that realm and do know, and then you have a handful of them that won every single thing at every single moment. And it's like, bro, it doesn't happen that way, man. Every team has to transition from one to the next. So, and and it's just one of those things, dude. Just some of these fans out there, it's just no matter what, they'll never be freaking happy, man.
I reckon it's just, I was talking to Matty the other day, and I know we're on the internet, right? I think it's more of an internet thing, and we have some good guys in the live chat right now. You guys know what's going on. But if we all go to the bar, right? We all go to the bar, and it's 8-8. We are cheering our team on to win, and we are going to scoreboard watch next week. if the games go the right way, and hopefully the Bills team can play. And I mean not just play good, but I mean emotionally, if they're going to go through a very hard time. So there could be a chance that the Pats could win. And you know what? I don't even care, because it's the same thing. Football's football, but life is bigger than football. When we get off, we go outside, we enjoy the sun, and we keep going. And no one knows how you get here. No one knows how you leave. Right? That's the middle part is the crazy part. The start and the end is all mystery. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if the Steelers do get a chance that those things happen, we'll scoreboard watch, and the guys on the internet will complain about anything. That's what I've realized doing these podcasts after a while, and it is really hard to shake off sometimes. I tell you. It's a bit annoying when you and I are like, yo, let's just like, can we just not cheer our team on? It's Steelers versus Browns. It's like, I know what happened yesterday is a complete shock. So every time I say it, it makes me feel a bit weird. But it's Steelers versus Browns. It's playoffs. Kenny gets in the playoffs. That's huge, right? He got back-to-back comeback wins for the first time, I think, in rookie history. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So why are people? Why are they doubting us? Why are they doubting the Steelers?
I think still it's just one of the things of are you talking about like our own fans or just the media or what?
Mostly, you know what I find? I really find the more I look into it, anywhere I go on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or wherever, most of social media, right? It's mostly our fans. It's 5% of our fan base that doesn't like our team. Like, I'm telling you that legit doesn't like our team. I look around the other fan bases. They're like, oh, Coach Tomlin's one of the greatest coaches. Why would you guys ever get rid of him? And I see another comment say, and someone on Facebook says, well, half our fan base hates him. You know, I just don't understand. I look around everywhere, and the media guys, you know, Ryan Clarkson, or he's ex-Steeler, but other guys in the media, like, we love Coach Tomlin. We love this team. We love what Kenny Pickett's doing. Rich Eisen the other day had a video, and he said that any fired Tomlin guy are dumb. They're dumb or whatever, right? It's just like, we just have to support our team. And right now it's 8-8 with a rookie quarterback for a chance to go to the playoffs. Can you even imagine that?
Yeah, it would be. I said it before. I said last night, well, not last night, Sunday, I said with the Steelers beating the Ravens, I said it was just remarkable that the way that the first half of the season went, everybody thought they were done. Season was over, top 5 picks, stuff like that. And they're still playing meaningful football in the last 2 weeks of the year. It's pretty awesome. And as a fan, like, you have to be excited about that. It's not just for this year. This is not just for this season. This is for the long term. This is for the future. Having something like this happen and Kenny being able to be a part of this, and Pickens and some of these other younger guys, and even just the team as a whole. Because you've come together and you've seen how far you've come through the struggles and the downs and all the crap you've heard and stuff. And here you are still fighting, right? Still alive, still battling, right? And still could get a playoff spot. And even just as an organization, as a team, like, that's got to be great. But for the future going forward, like, it definitely is a great thing for some of these younger guys. And it's something that you take into next season too. And that's why I said, no matter if they got in the playoffs or not, you have to look at how the rest of this year went, and you got to be excited about it.
I'll bring up a point too, and Rod makes a good point. And look, we can always be critical. Rod says, after 2-6, I never thought we would be here. I have credit weight.
Yeah, now, don't really think anybody did.
I didn't think we would be here either. But I'm saying we're here now. We're here now at 8-8, and I just believe there needs to be some respect given on Tomlin's name. Not having a losing season, you know, getting the fellas ready. Like, I feel like this Tomlin and Kenny relationship can be a nice, good power duo. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, the connection they both have together is, he called him pretty much Kenny fucking Pickett. That was the tweet I saw from Andrew Filipponi, that bloke. Well, I guess it's from him, but still, you read his lips. He said when he comes off the field after the drive, Tomlin looks to say Kenny fucking Pickett. And it's like, he knows, he believes in young Kenny, and Tomlin's an older man, 50 years old. He's got his guy now. People always talk about, they'll cowards guys. Well, now he's got his guy. He's got his guy for a chance in the playoffs, but we won't beat the Chiefs. We won't beat the Bengals. I don't care. Get to the 7th seed and see what happens. And then next year, build upon that. Kenny's next year, being a rookie, I think he's 6-6, I think. And because he's been knocked out a few times here and there, he's something like that. He's like 5 and 9 TDs. But I'm telling you, next year we're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. And there's nothing wrong with being 8-8 right now, is there?
Yeah, no, there's not. And look, I understand in terms of the fans. Hold on one second, Mark. There.
What's
Where
up?
are we?
You there? Your internet's there or not?
There we are. Yep. No, we're good. We're good. Yep. Two words, Z. Let's hear it. How's work? How's being freaking? Yeah, and there it is. I know nobody in the chat would understand. He's my best friend, and he comes in here and freaking trolls around.
What's that? Tomlin called Kenny Cubes now. What is that? Sure, I don't understand why we would call him Kenny Cubes.
Is that supposed to be Kenny Ice?
I don't know. Maybe.
Jeez.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's. Well, hold on, Mark. Well, because I was trying to get back on here, like, because I was looking at something on the side.
Okay.
What was it that you asked me?
Well, I'm just saying, like,
follow up on.
It's 8-8, and where's the respect, mate? Where's the respect for Tomlin?
Right. So what I want to say about that is that, look, I know the Steelers' MO the last few years has been 9 wins or so, losing the first round. I understand that, right?
Right.
If this was something where they still had Ben and, those guys, stuff like that, and they were underperforming like that, where you obviously expect better, I would understand the frustrations. I would understand.
Gotcha. Yes,
like,
it matches, right? Yes.
Right.
Gotcha.
But with this type of season, though, nobody knew how good it was going to be. It was a new transition, new faces, a rookie quarterback. You had a guy in Mitch that started early. And so that should give you, like I said, no matter if they make the playoffs or not, and like, oh, wow, it's going to be 9-8 again or anything like that. That's irrelevant for this year, because this is something that you take going forward. Right. Even if they get in and lose in the first round, even if they don't get in, it's still something you take and go forward, and you get better in the offseason. Make whatever changes you got to make. Right. But you got to give credit where credit's due on it.
You're exactly right. If it was Big Ben, for sure, and it was AB there, for sure, maybe 9-8 won't cut it. This is a rookie quarterback with the youngest offense in the league. TJ Watt went down. There were some injuries all over the shop. The defense hasn't been playing very well. They've been playing better in the second half. They tried Trubisky there. Sure, that's on Tomlin. That's his call too. They tried that. It didn't work. They went to Kenny Pickett. He came out of it. They're 2-6. The bye, and since the bye, they're 6-2. They're back at it. Like, how is that not a good season? How is that not? Yeah, but we should be winning Super Bowls every year. Yeah. No rookie has ever won a Super Bowl. No rookie's ever won one. Right? Yeah. None. So I don't understand. Owens as coach of the year, dead set. He should be in contention because of the team around you, not just because it's not the same old Big Ben Steelers. It's the Kenny Pickett. What did you expect, Steelers?
Yeah, and that's why, like, when I asked you guys last night, I said even if the Steelers don't make the playoffs to be a successful season, I would say yes, it has been, because again, nobody knew how good they were going to be. This wasn't a season that it normally is of predicting the Steelers going to win 10, 11, 12, 13 games, hopefully get to the AFC Championship, make a run or something like that. Those were no expectations right there. And expectations were lowered just given of the uncertainties and all those type of things like that. And you look at now, they can still get in the playoffs, even if they don't, finishing with 8 or 9 wins on that. Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want going into next year, into the future and stuff like that. So we can base it. It's not a successful season because they didn't make the playoffs or something like that. But even like nobody expected them to when they were 2-6. Now they're still alive. And you just really have to take into account what kind of team it is right now. And it's a great thing.
I reckon, dead set, that Steelers can make the playoffs. And I reckon they can make a bit of noise. Matty Perville, who I work on behind the curtain with, some Steelers fans live by the phrase "grass is always greener." I think it's been a very successful season, right? Very. Brian Brown has 17-0, and Brian Brown's probably one of the most positive Steelers fans I've ever met, ever. Always thinking they're going to win, 100%. Like we do too, right? 100%. But yeah, sometimes the grass is always greener, and it's like this is a successful season. Okay, you have an undrafted running back too at playing second, right? Yeah. You have Harris coming into his second year playing good football. You have Muth into his second year or third year, whatever he's into, right? Second year, I'm not too ssure. I forget. Second year. You have Kenny Pickett is a rookie. You have all these young guys. A brand new offensive line, pretty much. Mason Cole came over. James Daniel came over. I like the way Trick's playing, and the other guys in the second and third year. everyone's young on this offense, right? It's like, and of course you had the limitations of Matt Canada. You're telling me this is not successful? And then the Fly Tomlin's crowds is like, you know what? We just want Super Bowls. The standard is the standard. We want Super Bowls. The fact is that 12 teams have not even won it, right? Is it right? 12 teams, or did I mix it up? 12 teams haven't won it, or 4 haven't won it. Either way. No, wait, I can't remember. No, 12 haven't won it, and 4 have never been. That's right. 12 have never won it. 4 have never been. This, to me, is successful. And imagine if they get in the playoffs, dude. Imagine.
No, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. It'd be good. Z says he's about to trigger everyone.
He's not talking about my cord again, is he? I've been trying to shut it down.
I don't know what the heck he's talking about. I really don't know. But I could literally friggin' school this guy and expose him right now in the chat in front of everybody.
So Zach, our residential Raven fan, is saying we're not going to make it. I don't know. I get a feeling we will. Just got to hope everything clears, everything in the next week or so. That the Bills are emotionally ready to play against the Pats. I think they can beat them, and the Jets can upset the Dolphins. Why not?
Yeah.
And J Devil says we're about to give Watson Tatum his own medicine, 100%. Like, do you think we win this game? I know we're going to do probably a preview later on. I think so too.
Yeah.
Like, here's a good one. How often can an organization in a obvious rebuild season take a rookie quarterback, have a chance of winning season? Is that not in a nutshell what's going on?
Yeah, but you know what? Some fans just don't like it because they wanted a higher draft pick or because they think they're going to lose in the first round again.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a lot of names that I've been seeing on the internet a fair bit that I don't see anymore.
Yeah.
Very
well,
quiet.
See you later.
But,
see you later. Z says I've donated the most money to this podcast. I can say what I want. It's true. We don't limit what you can say. We don't put a filter on you.
I'll block you in a heartbeat, mate. All right.
Mark already blocked one person today.
I'll easily block you in a heartbeat. Yeah. I don't overly care about the money, but hang on. That's a good. What do you think about that? Okay, we'll flip to the Ravens for a minute. What are the Ravens' chances even in the playoffs right now? Are they going to go one and done?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's even if they end up as the last wild card and or not the last wild card, if they finish as the 5th seed and play the AFC South, I think just with Lamar's injury, man, they've blown so many freaking games this year that they've had the lead in the 4th quarter. And even if they might look as a better team than the Jags or the Titans, if that's who they play, it's just hard for me to see it with their health. It's hard for me to see it in terms of what they've been doing lately. And I think if you're the Ravens, it's going to be an interesting offseason for them because it's going to be something of where I know we've talked about Lamar Jackson before, but it's going to be something where you're not going to pay him and tag him and trade him, and then you're going to try to bolster the roster? Or is it something where you're going to let people walk just so you can have your quarterback? And even at that point, like I think Lamar can be fun to watch. I think that he's got a lot of talent. But he's never been really my cup of tea of a quarterback. And I don't really think he's really even an elite quarterback to where they should be paying him top tier quarterback money like Mahomes or Josh Allen or what Joe Burrow is going to get. Heck, even Deshaun Watson. I don't think Deshaun Watson's an elite quarterback, but you look at the money he's making, like it's gonna be weird for the Ravens. Or I don't know. I mean, maybe he takes a cheaper contract than he wanted to just because he knows he's not going to get it. I don't know. But
I actually think Lamar could be done in Baltimore. I think he's done there. The whole Watson thing, not talking about the stuff on the sidelines. Yeah. We don't agree with that. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, Lamar does want Mahomes' money.
Yeah, but does he deserve that money? I don't know.
No, he doesn't. What has he done to deserve it? He won MVP in 2019. Other than that, he's been a back end top 10 type quarterback. He's only won one playoff game, right? And
I think 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So like he hasn't done anything to earn that, in my opinion. And this isn't me because I'm a Steeler fan. Lamar could be playing for any freaking team, and I'd be saying the same thing. So
and the Ravens team kind of built everything around him, didn't they? They built.
They did. Yeah, they changed their whole offensive scheme system. So if you let Lamar walk, then are you going to have to change that again, or are you going to try to find somebody that fits that mold? I don't know. I really don't. They're going to keep Huntley. They're going to try to trade for somebody that might be able to come in and even if they're not like their future quarterback, but they might come in to be able to keep that. Yeah, Viper, I agree. I don't think Lamar is necessarily a franchise type guy. I think he's someone that could become one if he got better in different areas. But right now, I think he's really just a back end kind of top 10 quarterback. I don't take away what he can do. He can make plays. He's an elite athlete, right? He's still a talented quarterback. He's won a lot of games. He can play well when the Ravens have a lead. But again, at that point, I think he's limited in certain areas as well that hold him back from taking that next step. Now, are those things that he can do better and get better at to take that leap? Yeah, I think so. But his playing style, man, that's just his playing style. It's running first. And if you take away his legs, having him to beat you with his arm, like he's not that type of quarterback.
Speaking of quarterbacks here, Olin says, check out this. Tell me how many quarterbacks are in the playoffs that are still in their rookie deal. Now, the only one I can think of is that Brock Purdy guy. He's playing for the Niners. Other than that, the Steelers have a chance to go to the playoffs, which we're talking about today.
Joe Burrow's still on his rookie year, his rookie contract.
Oh, he means rookie deal, right?
Yeah, their rookie deal. Okay. So Joe Burrow is. I think Justin Herbert still is. I think that might be it, if I'm forgetting anybody. Right now, at least teams that have clinched a playoff spot.
The Bills guys, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar technically would be, but he's a free agent. So, and that's the thing with the Bengals. You look at the Bengals, right? They're going to have to pay Joe Burrow probably next year. And they're not going to be able to pay everybody on their defense. T. Higgins, all these offensive linemen that they gave big contracts to in this offseason. Like, that's what I mean. The Bengals are trying to capitalize right now on what they can. And that's not saying that the Bengals can't have, a consistent type of longevity success since you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, stuff like that, but you can't pay everybody. So they're going to have to make some decisions once they get ready to pay him. You're going to trade T. Higgins since you're probably not going to be able to pay a wide receiver that money because you got Jamar Chase you got to pay, right? Like, you can't pay everybody. So that's one thing with Cincinnati too. With the Steelers, the great thing about them, Kenny's in his first year. They have a good young talent, a good young offense. They have some money they can work with and bolster the team. So that's the good thing about them. When you're not paying a quarterback, you can do that. And then obviously when you have to pay a quarterback, you can't pay everybody, but if you have your quarterback for the future, like, you can still still have long-term success, even though sadly you can't pay everybody that you want.
Well, let's talk about Kenny, because I think Kenny's a really interesting topic right now. Going from the last two victories versus the Raiders, 6-2 from the bye, playing really good football. Here's the question. Did the Steelers just get a franchise guy? We had Big Ben for 17 years. Did we get back-to-back franchise guys?
And actually today,
18?
Even though today's Tuesday, the date today is 1 year since Big Ben's last home game.
Really?
Yeah, the date today. So
did the Steelers and us, supporting our team, did we just get back-to-back franchise guys where Kenny could be the guy for the next 10 years if he progresses forward?
Well, hold on real quick. Let me answer the question. Are you GOAT says, should the Ravens trade for Jimmy G? Probably not, because I don't even think Jimmy G might not even get a starting gig necessarily next year. Like, he'll sign somewhere where he gets an opportunity to be one, but I don't think so. I think the Ravens, I've talked to my friend Zach in the chat. He's a Ravens fan, and we talk about it every once in a while. If Lamar doesn't come back, it's one of those things of we both kind of think that they'll maybe try to get somebody that maybe fits that similar mold where they don't have to completely overhaul their offensive scheme or anything like that. But going back to your question, Mark, with Kenny being franchise quarterback, I don't want to put a determination on that yet. I think Kenny still deserves more time to continue to grow and flourish in that. But what I will say is that he has shown what he can do early on so far. He has shown that he has some of that it you like to see. And I think that he has the ability to become one. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here right now, since it's still his rookie year, and sit here and say that he's going to be their next, franchise type guy. I hope so. I like him. I like his leadership. I like his attitude. He's a good guy. He's shown a handful of good things you want to see from your rookie quarterback. And I think that those are things that he can really continue to grow with. and he could become that. So that's why I think that every Steeler fan should be optimistic and excited about his progression and the direction that he's going. So I think that it's possible. And I think that he could, as long as he stays healthy, if he would turn into that, which I think he definitely can, I think he could play more than 10 years. As long as he's staying healthy and has that longevity. Yeah.
For me, it's kind of like if you can, get a chance to go to the playoffs and whatnot, and if we get there and finish 9-8, you can survive the rookie season. I'm sure he had 2 concussions here and there, or protocols. I'm not too sure if they were concussions. But survive the season. He's thrown 9 interceptions. He's played a lot better down the stretch, and then go into the offseason in year 2. See what can happen in year 2. I think it's going to be one of those things where you might look back in 5 years' time in 2027, right? When we're all a lot older, and you go, holy dooly. We got a guy back then, didn't we? That was the best place to get him. Time will only tell, but
so far, look at his draft class. Kenny continues to grow, right? George Pickens, you got Mark Robinson has at least got a hat. We can see what he can do. You look at who else am I blanking out from this draft class, man?
Austin. We haven't seen Austin yet.
Calvin Austin. We still have to wait and see what he does. So it could
Connor Hayward.
And Connor Hayward, you could look in 2 to 3 years, look back at this draft class and say this was a home run. You could. I'm not saying you're going to, but I'm saying you could. So, are you going to say who should back up Kenny, Mark?
Let's go for it all. Kenny Pickett. So Kenny Pickett was number 1 at 20. George Pickens 52, which is a steal right there. DeMarvin Leal 84, which is
and Leal. Leal was a projected first-round pick going into last year's college season. So
he's playing defensive tackle. So he's going to be, I guess, in the middle between the fellas, right? I like Ogunjobi. I like Hayward. They're on their 2 big veterans you need there.
Leal, you have him as your 4th guy there. Is he still young? Rotating him in and out, whatever.
Did you see him play last week? How he was playing last week? Him and Mark Robinson are kind of like the new fresh guy. Oh my Jesus!
Rod, we appreciate it, brother. We really do. Thank you so much for the donation.
Rod, ask a question. Man. Please ask a question. Oh my goodness!
Appreciate it, Rod. Appreciate it. We appreciate you tuning in, man, and donating here, man.
You're crazy. What I was going to say that I was going to move into this. DeMarvin Leal is defensive tackle, right? He was playing pretty well with Mark Robinson. He's kind of reminds me of like a Vince Williams, like a physical guy, and even Tomlin said like they played Spillane and Robinson because they knew they were like physical for that spot. It was Ravens football. That's what he kind of said in a nutshell, right? So you have Calvin Austin we haven't seen yet. That's a good pick. Hopefully he can be working to the 3rd or 4th guy. And you don't know who we're going to draft next year. Connor Hayward is still a guy that's tight end, fullback, who I think is going to be a big part of the offense in the future. Mark Robinson, if he's a guy that can turn into a middle linebacker, this might be in 2 or 3 years' time one of the best drafts we've ever seen. And Chris Oladukin's just not there. Chris Oladukin is just, see you later, mate. He's gone. But all those dudes have a chance, right? Like they have a chance to, and they're all playing good football. Even George Pickens caught that ball like out of midair,
Yeah, no, he did, and that's what I mean. Like it could be, it could end up turning out to be a home run draft class. I think you have to give that another couple years to ultimately see. To answer Goat's question, he asked who should be the backup next year. I don't think it should be Mitch. I don't think they should keep him because why are you going to pay $10 million to a backup quarterback? You can use that elsewhere. I'm sure he would like to move on. But some guys that are going to be free agents that they could bring in to be a backup, you got a guy in Case Keenum, Andy Dalton, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke. You look at, it's not a big free agent draft class or anything, but in terms of a backup, I always like to see them. I would like to see them bring in somebody who has been in the league for a while and that Kenny can really lean on. That's what I would like to see. Not another young 29, 28-year-old quarterback. I like to see someone who's maybe in his early 30s, around there, still playing a little bit, but that he can just really lean on, right? Does that make sense? Whether, not someone that's looking for a quarterback battle, not someone that's looking, because you're not going to have that here. So I don't know. I would just like kind of see one of those things.
Andy Dalton. George says Mark would like the red rifle. Andy Dalton. I don't want to see Andy Dalton back up. I want to see if anyone comes in. I want to see Josh Dobbs. I know some people don't like.
Yeah, Dobbs another guy. I've seen a lot.
I thought he might be a guy that he needs a job or he could back up and help out. The backups don't need to go out and be fantastic. They're just going to help manage the game and run the offense pretty much. So
Yeah.
I think Mason might be gone, but Mason could be the backup. He's okay to be backup. I think you're right.
If he would come back as a backup, I mean, I think everybody would be okay with that. Mason's a fine backup. He's just not a starter. That's the only thing. Yeah, Rod says a modern day Mark Malone type quarterback. Yep, that's somebody there. Viper asked, "Do you keep Miles Jack?" We actually had this conversation on last episode. He's going to be due $11 million.
They didn't play him. Steelers didn't play him. Steelers made a big decision heading into the playoff run too, right? They didn't play Devin Bush. They played Devin Bush 5 snaps. They played, I think, Miles Jack like 11 or 12. Is that not saying what the direction is going to be? Possibly going Spillane or going to the draft for a middle linebacker, or maybe go and get and buy some money. We talked about bringing in Tremaine Edmonds. That to me would be the move. If you're not playing Miles Jack because he was a little bit injured, right, on Devin Bush, are you pretty much giving up on them and saying we're not going to play them? Then
well, yeah. Zach says, "Do you bring back Eric Ebron?"
No.
Miles Jack. It's not that he's been bad. I don't think he has played as the player that a lot of the fans were hoping this year at inside linebacker. Him being due $11 million, I don't think the Steelers want to invest that type of money into him. And so they have two options. They could cut him and save the cap. Or number two, they could extend him where they spread that money over. And that's possible. But we know inside linebacker has been a problem for this team ever since Ryan Shazier got hurt and had to retire.
Yeah,
they just have not been able to figure it out. And it seems like with Devin Bush, they're done with him, right? It seems like they're ready. They're just not seeing what they want to see. And that's why Robert Spillane's playing all the snaps. That's why Mark Robinson got a lot of it. And Miles Jack's been injured too. So I don't think Miles Jack has been like a benching of some sorts or anything. I think Miles Jack was healthy.
Right.
I think he still would be playing more snaps than not. But they got to do something. And it's really not a big draft class in the sense of inside linebackers in the first round or early second round. So I could see them maybe if it was me, just for the sake being able to save some cap, I would extend Miles Jack and go sign somebody in free agency. Go utilize that money toward at least someone, even if you don't bring in Tremaine Edmonds or one of the more commanding type guys. But if you bring in another serviceable guy along Miles Jack, and then in the future you can really tackle that position that you've been struggling to. But Brian Brown says he expects the Steelers to renegotiate and extend Miles Jack. That's what I'm saying. I could see them doing that just so they put that money over.
I think that they're not going to give up on Jack. I think they're going to pair him with someone, and I could see it being Spillane and having the third guy be Robinson. Marcus Allen, I think, is done.
Well, Marcus Allen's irrelevant. Mark Robinson deserves opportunity, and he's not somebody that he's a hard hitter.
And
Spillane,
he was fun to watch, man.
Gap filler. What's
right,
that?
Spillane Robinson was fun to watch in that game versus the Ravens, right? Real fun to watch. But it could be where you might start Robert Spillane with Miles Jack and see what happens, and then work in these guys.
Yeah, no, you could. I think Spillane's a little limited, and that's why I like him more as a depth guy, more so on certain downs and stuff like that. But they're not going to find this inside linebacker this offseason
I got a question for you. If whoever we see this week against the Browns, is that an indication of who they're going to go with next year?
It's possible. Like they'll at least have plans for him, I think.
Because will we see, if Miles Jack's healthy, will we see Robinson and Miles Jack together?
We could. I think Mark Robinson deserves an opportunity.
Yeah.
He definitely does. Sean says upgrade at cornerback, nose tackle. Absolutely. I've been an advocate. Bring back Javon Hargrave, man. Utilize the money. Bring back Javon Hargrave. Him, Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, DeMarvin Leal. There's your rotation right there. Defensive line.
That's like what the Eagles do. They got the fresh the 3 or 2 guys behind them, right? They do a rotation.
They got Davis. They got brought in Sue. They got Fletcher Cox. They got freaking one other guy. But yeah, all for it, man.
They're always overturning their tackles and defensive ends over and over, right? Consistently, you know. There's never a down moment. So
yeah,
maybe it's a big year for the Steelers if they win, lose, or draw the next week and whatever happens. Maybe the offseason is a big year where they can go and get these certain players, because we know that TJ Watt is going to get better, right? Or he's going to come. He's been off, right? Here's the question: is TJ been off? Something's up, dude.
I think he's just not 100%, man.
Just not healthy enough to get out.
Yeah.
He's still at the sack, though. It just doesn't feel like the old TJ, does it? Not that I'm giving up on him, but
yeah, I think he's just not 100%, bro. Yeah, RU Goat says the Steelers should bring in Jordan Hicks. He used to be an inside linebacker for the Cardinals, very serviceable, pretty above average inside linebacker. I believe he's with the Vikings this year. It just kind of depends. Kind of depends on how the Steelers view him and his type of production. Does he fit in with what they want to do? They got to bring something in there. Michael says never should have moved on from Hargrave. Yeah, it was one of those things in 2019. It was just kind of hard to pay everybody. Or in 2020, I mean, it was just kind of hard to pay everybody. The cap was down because of COVID too, and all that stuff like that, and it was hard to pay everybody.
So let's try and be honest here. Let's bring it back to the question: do the Pittsburgh Steelers deserve to be in the playoffs? Do you think actually? Let's go through these two games. Now, I do believe they're going to play, and I guess I know the emotion of the situation with Hamlin and stuff like that. But where's my bloody banner? My bloody Eric banner. Okay, let's start with this. In Week 18, do you think the Bills can actually beat the Patriots? Like, what happens? Do they play starters, or do you think that the team in general can beat them?
Yeah, I think if the team's okay to play, and if they do play, I think they can beat them, and they're still playing for certain stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Ben's contract also, man. I mean, they could. So we'll wait and see if they play or not. It's kind of a wait and see.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen.
If they push the playoffs back,
yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I've heard that too. They might push the playoffs back a week or so, and then put the Bengals game in, play that, and then you know what I mean. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's the situation. They're gonna have to be careful with everything.
Oh, you know what? They got Case Keenum, man. They got the best backup in the league. They can win the Case Keenum. He plays pretty good,
Case Keenum win games. I'm fine if they even want to bring a guy like that in to be Kenny's backup next year. But yeah, Dolphins, they're going to be going with Bridgewater if he's able to go, or Skylar Thompson. So it's possible. Absolutely. I think that there's a good chance that the Steelers can get the help they need to get in. Man, I remember back in 2015, they needed the Bills to beat the Jets, and that happened, and the Steelers got in. So it's one of those things, but we'll have to see what the NFL does with everything.
It's just a day by day thing, but I think Week 18 might be the same, but it might be pushed back. We don't hopefully know. Who knows what's going on? But still, though, we might have 3 or 4 preview shows. We don't know. We have the Jets. We need the Jets to beat the Dolphins. Can the Jets beat the Dolphins? They have injuries to Tua. And their Teddy Bridgewater's got an injury too. They're going to play Skylar Thompson at the moment.
And they're division rivals too. Like, even though the Jets are eliminated, they're still going to want to finish the season strong. They're still going to want to, take care of business against Miami. So, it's one of those things. It's a wait and see thing. But I think that I just think the most important thing is, even if the Steelers don't get in, I think all fans should still be encouraged with how the rest of this year went and how they finished the season. And that's what you want. That's literally what I said when they were coming after the bye week. I was like, look, I just want them to have a strong second half. Want them to take that wherever they can. Want to see growth and development for some of these young guys. And they've done that, which is a good thing. But at the end of the day, I think all fans should want that. They should all want to see production and growth and all these things like that, and not just be hoping for a top 3, top 5 pick. Right. You look at all the fans around the league that keep hoping for high draft picks. Their freaking teams are these organizations that just can't figure it out or anything like that.
We've got a first because the trading Claypool pretty much gives us like a near first. Like, that's 33rd, right? Another first. Yeah. So we got two ones. If we end up with the 20th and 33, that's pretty good, right? That trade was, when you look back at it, one of the best trades to get rid of since Claypool's moved out. I've never been a fan. I was a fan at the start. I was a fan when an 11-0 run, the big play to Big Ben to Claypool, but then everything else started happening. Ego went through the roof. TikTok, Rick Rock, all this stuff. Right, I was just done with him. And since they traded him, the Steelers have been winning. And since the Bears got him, they've been losing. So I reckon, we currently at the moment, I think if they lose another game, we have their 33rd pick, which is like second, right? They'll be sick on the
first pick of the second round, man.
It's
the first pick of the second round.
Yeah, on the second day of the draft, we might have the very first pick. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Hey, the Claypool.
It'd be pretty crazy. Or if there's opportunity, they could always even trade back. If there's certain guys they like that they know that they can get at this point or that point, they could always do that. If they tag Lamar, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be due like $40-45 million. So that's why I think they're gonna tag and trade him.
Sit out the season, sit on the bench, and wear his sunglasses at night.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. And before I wrap it up, thank you, Rod, again for giving the $99.
Yeah, Rod, shout out to you, man.
Crazy,
Appreciate you being in the
man.
chat. Appreciate you being in the chat just itself, man, and putting your thoughts out there, but donating the $100.
Oh,
it means a lot to the
crazy.
channel.
Oh, he's just nuts. But yeah, let's do our final thoughts and we'll get out of here, man. It's been a long show. It's been a good show. What are your final thoughts, I guess, on, can they make the playoffs? Or no, do they deserve to be in the playoffs? Not make. Do they deserve to be?
Yeah, I think just with how they've played and they have fought, like it's not like the Steelers started 7-2 at the bye week and then are going to finish 8-9 or 9-8 or something like that, right? Like this team that started 2-6, they have fought week in and week out. They've got themselves to possibly finishing the year 7-2 and taking leaps in different areas and all those type of things. And they're playing well together, defense playing better. And that's a lot of great things to take at the end of the year and even into the playoffs if you make it. So I would say, yeah, that they do, just simply off of that context. I would say, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think if you're ranking, for me, guys, to finish it, I think if you're ranking the teams where if the Dolphins can get in, the Pats can get in, the Jets are eliminated, those three teams are fighting for the seventh. I think out of all those teams, the Steelers deserve it more than the other two. The Dolphins have lost 5 in a row, or maybe more. The Pats, while they did win last week, they're just sneaking in, right, too. So I think the Steelers are a better team than the Pats. So out of everyone, they probably deserve it more. We're 6-2 from the bye. Let's be honest, that's a pretty good record. If we win against the Browns, we're 7-3. We're in the playoffs. Right. So out of everyone, actually, the Dolphins probably don't deserve to be there the most. They have literally crashed completely. And if I see the Pats in there over us, it's going to hurt because we're so close. The worst thing that can happen, here's the worst thing before we go. The worst thing that can happen is that we lose and they win, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? The same time, scoreboard watch, 1 p.m. The Jets are, where is it? Where's me Watsy? The Jets are beating the Dolphins 30-10. The Bills are beating the Patriots 31-6, right? Steelers are losing 24-10. I would be crushed. I'd be like, you let your 5 games went your way and you couldn't win the last one at home. So it's going to be tough.
No, it is. But it's good that they're all playing at the same time, though.
I agree. They stuffed up last year with the whole waiting and then the tie and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now teams can't scoreboard watch. It's go out there, win your game. And look, we don't know what's going to happen with the situation with Hamlin and these things going forward. But right now, we just need those 3 results and we're in. And then we're talking some playoff football. It's going to be fun. Thanks, Nathan, mate. Shout out to our mate, Daniel J, too, who's away for the moment. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Olin, Michael, Rod, Claude, everyone in here. Frosty, Daredevil, Viper, Brian, who else is in there? Sean, anyone else? I probably missed a few guys in there. Thank you, guys, for coming in the chat. It was fantastic. Thank you for the 99 again as well. And and Are You the GOAT as well? Thank you, everyone, for coming in. And as always, guys, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Welcome to the Unofficial Steelers Podcast, the podcast so unofficial it doesn't have a home. Here's your host, from In Hindsight, Nathan Heights. From Steelers Nation Australia, Mark Davison. And from State of the Steelers, Daniel J.